something to say, something to say.
Hey everybody, RHouse21 here, and it's time for another quick tip. So, you saw my most recent video, and you're thinking, oh man, that would be so cool to take my Sidewinder or my 540 class ESC and replace it with a big old Mamba Monster or MXL6 or something like that. So you unhook everything and you get your motor leads out, and then you go and you just try to do a dry fit just to make sure that everything will work, and you see, oh my goodness, this doesn't work. That's way too big. That doesn't plug in. What am I going to do? Well, fortunately, most RC shops or most hobby shops carry these Castle bullet connectors, and you see I'm actually missing a few because you got the 6.5mm size and the 4mm size, and these come in sets. So what I decided to do was take male and females and rig up an adapter cable where I've taken the male 6.5mm bullets and the female 4mm bullets, and use a little bit of good gauge silicone wire or a silicone wrap wire, and made up a connector and heat shrinked everything in the middle. So you basically have just enough wire to connect the bullet connector on either side and middle, and just heat shrink up everything so that you don't have a lot of exposed conductor left. And now you have the ability to plug in your so basically in this case I have my Castle 1410 into this speed controller and have it work just fine. And I already did a dry fit, plugged everything in, made sure it all worked, and see I've got my Dean's connectors all wired in. Both speed controllers are functional and they're happy. So these guys are actually going into Slate and Dizzy, and as you can see over here, Dizzy, he's already got his new 2560 kV motor. Actually, it's 2650 kV motor in place. But of course, that brings up another random little issue, and that's the Sidewinder speed controller, or I should say the normal size speed controller for this size, fits right here in the hole, no problem, tons of room. This thing does not. And actually it's funny because it doesn't fit down in here because this little ear off of the receiver box stands in the way. However, there's plenty of room up top. So I'm thinking that for in order to make everything fit nicely, there's a lot of empty volume out here. I'm thinking about just rigging up a little pedestal. So essentially taking something, tying it into these structural points right here, just have it be a standoff of a couple inches that will get this standing above here, drop this in place, and then there's plenty of room for the speed control and everything from a vertical standpoint. So I guess this is two quick tips in one. So if you're thinking about following in my footsteps and making one of these larger speed controllers that have the 6.5mm bullet connectors work, rigging up this adapter is actually not too difficult. If you got basic soldering skills, you can figure it out. It's a little tricky in that you need to basically tin the connectors so that you get, well, I'll just show you over here. This is the other way around, male to female, female to male. But you can look, there's a little cup down in there. There's a little tip here, and the technique I used is putting my soldering iron into that little hole. And I got me a good contact, and I heated up the entire little cup. Then I put solder into the middle of here, basically touching the tip to get it to melt, but then letting it flow inside the cup. So I had essentially a little puddle of molten solder inside of there. And then I just went ahead and put my pre-tinned wire section right into it. And the wire itself only needed to be like half an inch long, because all I was doing was just basically making a section that was long enough to connect the two bullet connectors. And you want to try to keep this as close to being identical length as possible. So, and that will just basically help to eliminate any timing issues. And in my case, you see one of these wires is a little stiffer than the other because I let a little bit more solder get tint. Basically, when you heat up solder, it capillary action pulls it up the wire when you apply a lot of heat to it. So I put a little bit more heat on this one than I did on the others, so the solder got pulled further up into the actual wire. So this one particular wire in the middle is stiffer now. These other two are still bendy, but just little things to look out for. But it's not very tough to do this, and I mean it'll only take less than an hour to do it if you're going slow and just being careful. But it's a quick and easy adapter, and lets you use it lets you connect the 1410 size motor, so basically a 540 or 550 motor, to these larger ESCs. Okay, so hope you guys enjoy, and Our House 21 signing off, and see you next time for another quick tip. And remember the mantra: fly, fix, fly, break it, fix it, do it all over again. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And somehow my quick tip still ended up being 6 minutes long. Well, you guys take care. Peace.